Hi, I'm Edda, and this is Beauty Flip, where I help ordinary people find out what's so extraordinary using my skills as a award-winning hairdresser and salon owner, coach, as well as an energy spiritual healer. Today we are going to look at just what Beyoncé decided to do with the grind economy. Yep, let's follow in Beyoncé's footsteps and see how she got off the uneven playing field. Hey, all you fabulous human beings. I am excited. Today we are inviting Beyoncé, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, to be on the show with us so that we can talk about something that she basically said, no, not going to do that anymore. She ultimately, who is such a gold standard of performance, of music, of creation, so many ways that when we look at her, we say, oh my God, I want to be like Beyoncé. I want to have everything she has. And yet, in the 2016, she kind of said, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. So what we are going to dive in here is something called, I call, and people call, the Strife Economy. And we're going to give basically the words that Beyoncé calls it, the grind economy. But please know, if I say grind economy or Strife Economy, we are talking about the same thing. First, I think before we get into Beyoncé's fabulous career, let's take a look at what does it mean, the Strife Economy. Strife economy is a cultural operating system that keeps people in low-grade state of inner conflict. Does that feel like your life much? Yeah, right? In order to remain easier to influence, manage, and monetize. Can I say that again? Why do they keep us in strife? Those people. Ultimately, to remain easier to influence us, manage us and our decisions, and monetize us. Let's take a look more at the core of the Strife Economy. The Strife Economy, ultimately, at its very core, profits from insecurity. Oh my gosh. Bring, bring. Hello. Who is it? It's insecurity. It's time for us to manage you and monetize you. Oh, okay. I'll be right there. Click. Sound like you much? Absolutely. It's all of us. This profiting from insecurity is emotional, it is economic, it is cultural, and it is existential. It keeps people, and that's most of us, in a perpetual state of not enough, not going to be high enough for the grade, not able to do enough, have enough information, be smart enough, not look thin enough, not be cute enough, rich enough, in order to fit into whatever you are being asked to fit into. And therefore, what it does is it drives us, this deep insecurity, to consume, to comply, and to suppress our self-expression. Wowza. Ouch, a Rooney. Not happy about that. Let's just say a little bit that this global actual level of insecurity that is the Strife Economy disproportionately affects, I bet you could guess, yes, marginalized people. And it erodes their well-being as well as their safety and belonging. And ultimately, Strife Economy is considered sort of like a populist kind of scenario, that populist and commercialized systems capitalize on these feelings of vulnerability and disenchantment. And then we, not you and me necessarily, but those people who live off of the Strife Economy, build economic structures that create winners who keep on winning and benefit from the instability, and losers who remained trapped. Ugh, yuck. Well, I am going to now talk to you about our lovely Beyoncé, who is so absolutely fierce in all the ways that we can think about it, and truly looked like she was one of the winners of the Strife Economy, where she was benefiting constantly from everything that she could do. Everything she touched, everything she sang, every album she dropped was pure gold in every way that you can imagine. Actually, truly, take that back. They were all platinum, and she released everything already at the top of the Billboard 200. So let's get to know our fabulous Beyoncé before she decided to say, no, not going to play this game anymore. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter was born in September of 1991. And truthfully, Beyoncé was a very shy child. Her parents had enrolled her in dance classes at the age of 7 to help her make friends because she was so shy. And it was during these classes that teachers discovered she could hit high notes and hold a pitch while dancing. So Mom and Dad decided to enter into different talent competitions, and she started to win them throughout Houston. From a very early age, she had a very intense discipline and entrepreneurial work ethic. Beyoncé said that her parents taught her that nothing of worth would ever come easy to her. Now let's get to see where did she just really take off with this budding career of hers. Later in life, 2003, Dangerously in Love, that album won 5 Grammys, including Best Contemporary R&B. And it was certified 4 times platinum. Hello, 4 times platinum? Wow. Then, 3 years later, 2006, well, she came out with B-Day, and that won Grammy for Best Contemporary R&B Album. And that one was 3 times platinum. 2008, I Am Sasha Fierce. This won 6 Grammys, including, Single Ladies, yes sir, yes ma'am, and it was certified 2 times platinum. In 2011, she came out with 4, and this fabulous album won Best Traditional R&B Performance, as well as 1 time platinum. Beyoncé, 2013, was a Best Surround album. Drunk in Love won Best R&B as well as Best R&B Song. And it was certified 2 times platinum. And then in 2016, she came out with Lemonade, Best Urban Contemporary Album, Best Video Formation Peabody Awards, as well as 3 times platinum. Okay, so now let's just imagine that in any way, after what I've just shared with you, Beyoncé would ever say that she felt that there was such a thing as a grind or strife economy, because from what we can tell, that woman has killed it from day one and is still killing it and is truly one of the icons of the music industry and truly of America. But indeed, she will tell you the grind economy is real, and it affected her, and it really tore her up, and she won't let it ever do that to her again. So in order to understand that, let's just now dive into the fabulous little aspects of what made the grind economy / strife economy real to her. In 2017, she was invited to Coachella as a headliner, the first Black woman ever. Congrats to that. Well, she postponed it because she was pregnant. And then during her pregnancy, she had to give birth to her twins via C-section. And she had gained a lot of weight. She was over 200 pounds. And she really felt that all of her ability to dance and to do all the things that she could do were really not at her fingertips anymore. So when it came time to go to Coachella and be the headliner, this fabulous headliner, Beyoncé, she prepared in a very, very stringent and disciplined and even, she would say, brutal way. She cut out all sugar, carbs, dairy, meat, and alcohol. She rehearsed 8 to 10 hours a day. She did months and months of physical conditioning. She micromanaged every single detail of the show. She persevered and pushed through pain and exhaustion and hormonal recovery, and she forced her body into a performance shape before it was ready to do so. And this is where she said she pushed herself too far. In her words, when she talks about grind economy's logic, basically it asks for sacrifice. And ultimately, if you don't sacrifice, you lose your place. What she did to prepare for Coachella was not just about challenging herself. It truly broke her. She was in complete physical breakdown. She had muscle spasms, difficulty breastfeeding. She was constantly dealing with exhaustion, pain, and feeling completely and utterly disconnected from her body. She had emotional and psychological costs that she had missed, that she missed her children and her husband and her own private life, and that she was trying to live inside some sort of trance, a perfectionist trance, and that this was a place where she felt very much insecure and needed to claim her spot again. She realized during this that she said, "I am not a machine." And that ultimately motherhood of the twins was a place where she finally shattered the illusion. She walked away from the grind after Coachella. She made a quiet but seismic decision that she would never, ever push herself like that again. She said it was not burnout, but it was an awakening. And I would say it's where she flipped her script. She saw that the industry would forever ask and continue to take everything if it could. That culturally she was expected to be nothing but invincible and perfect. But she truly realized that she was human and that her body had limits, and her joy of her family and being with her daughters and even connecting to herself was the collateral damage, because it was being torn up. And her worth had only been tied to one thing, and that was the constant output of one successful album after another, and her gaining the charts at a constant, nonstop press. This was her rebirth. It was her renaissance, her exit from the grind economy. She found, while stopping being a superhuman, that she could enjoy pleasure and softness and sensuality and liberation and joy. To regain connection with her body and feel its full embodiment, and to honor community and those around her. That was her freedom. She ultimately said she was done being the system's machine, and she was choosing her own aliveness. This is where we all have to decide. Maybe you are not some wild hit wonder who's producing one record after another. But maybe, just like Beyoncé, you are struggling constantly to prove yourself again. And maybe the call of your company and your job and the community around you is to always be successful, to be perfect, and to be on an upward trend, a trend that is unrealistic, because in nature there is no such thing as only up. Truth be told, nature and all of us live in the beautiful ups and downs of a messy human life. And it is in both ups and downs that we find the beauty. It is in sometimes the most quiet of quiets that we discover far more beautiful things than in our most phenomenal bouts of striving and success. We can all walk away from strife because in the end, it is engineered. In the end, just like Beyoncé, we can walk away. If we look at the strife economy from a neuroscience perspective, we'll see that the strife economy keeps your brain in a constant threat mode, which, when I've spoken about before, is not using your frontal lobe, which is where you actually create very logical and very powerful decisions. It is in your limbic system. So ultimately, it is a place that organizes us to see negativity and to become far too much involved in fight, flight, or freeze. It also is a place where chronic stress becomes the norm. And in that, not only having amygdala, like, if you will, reactions, but constant state of amygdala reactions to the world. And with that, this is where we become overworking, people-pleasing, perfectionist, hypervigilist, self-critical machines. We are living in fight, flight, or freeze, fawn economy, and ultimately trying to always impress, and terrified if we don't. And as I said before, the prefrontal cortex is offline, where we no longer can plan for long-term self-reflection, creativity, emotional regulation, or boundary setting. Those things all become suppressed. And uncertainty, when that is suppressed, actually becomes the full circuitry of our lives. We sit here and we wonder over and over again, am I behind? Am I failing? Am I not enough? What did I do? How I could have done better? And ultimately, the world begins to feel no longer safe, and we begin to doubt our ability to create a beautiful and lovely life. But if you choose to turn away and choose to honor your ability as a human, as a divine being, you begin to see your amygdala quiets down. If you choose to honor your decisions as your decisions, whether they line up to immeasurable ways of being, you begin to stop feeding the system that is constantly and never-endingly telling you you're a failure. When you choose to just honor your decisions for yours, come hell or high water, you chose it and you're going to live by it, guess what happens? Your prefrontal cortex comes back online and you begin to become very clear about your life. Creativity comes back to you. Long-term thinking. You begin to build trust. And in trust for yourself, you begin to set the boundaries you need so that you can blossom. This repeated action of choosing, making choices, and honoring your choices, come hell or high water, is the place where you honor you, where you discover how beautiful you are, where you quiet the mindfuck calculations, hijacks, amygdala hijacks, and where you begin to think for yourself. And what if you thinking for yourself is a place of renaissance, just like Beyoncé? And what if you can let go and honor the things that you have created, the people who are part of your community, and the love that you have found or are finding? It is possible that this is when we let the threat-driven survival circuitry to fall away. It is possible when we choose this that the strife economy can fall away and our brain shifts from a threat-driven survival circuitry to a safety-driven self-authority, allowing all our brain to quiet and allowing our very fabulous prefrontal cortex to guide, re-engage, and reward the pathways to reopen and to discover joy. There is no joy found at the never-ending, competitive climbing to the top, because there's always another top that you would have to gain. So, my fabulous little human beings, I say, let's flip this. Let's live our life like Beyoncé. Let's have a renaissance. Let's claim our lives beyond the homecoming. Okay, all you fabulous people, that brings us to a close. So flip your scripts and create your own renaissance. Find ways to truly do something just for you. Find the joy of your life. Create things that make you happy. I'll see you next week.